Mic check, 1, 2. All right, hopefully we are coming in loud and clear tonight. Welcome everybody back to the Forge for another Friday night live here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. It has been far too long since we've gotten to hang out with everybody. I really hope everybody enjoys this stream. Tonight we're gonna be working on some Russian rose, basically one rose. It's going to just be kind of a good warm-up for me to get back into the Forge and kind of get back at doing this whole YouTube deal and live streams and things like that. First off, I'd like to just thank everybody who supported us during our time away. We really can't express our gratitude from the bottom of our heart. We can't express it enough. Thank you all so much, and thank you for being here. Real quick, while everybody's getting into the stream, go ahead and share this stream around if you would. It really does help the channel out. And make sure you say hi to Jessica. Jessica, how you doing?
I am doing well this evening. Hi everybody, I see you down there. It's turned out to be a little bit of a rainy evening, but I think we're still going to have a good time in the live stream.
Yeah, most definitely. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and check camera 2, make sure it's all functioning right. It should be. Hello everybody down there. You all know how this works. And then back up to camera 1. We should be doing pretty good. So hopefully stream support and all that, and we're doing good. So I've got a piece here of, I believe it is 1/8 inch. It's a little heavier than 1/8 inch. It might be 3/16 inch material by about 3/4 inch material wide. For doing these Russian roses, it's really not needed to have a real thick piece of material unless you want to do a lot of drawing out or exaggeration of the petals. Thinner material will work better and will look more natural for your roses. The other great thing about Russian roses is you really don't need any special equipment, tools, anything like that. You need your hammer, your anvil, and a little bit of ingenuity or creativity. Now, one thing I would say, they do go quite a bit easier if you do have a cross peen hammer in order to take and spread out the petals themselves. And then if you have a narrow, real thin, narrow, sharp peen hammer to do your texturing on your petals, that helps out as well. But everything we're going to be doing tonight will be done right here at the anvil, and the only special tool that we'll be using is the Hardy tool itself to sever the piece off once we're moving to that point. So that's it. Jessica, some questions real quick, and we're going to go into our first heat here.
All right. Yeah, we don't really have too much on the far as questions, but we do have the Roy Show. BC65925. Yeah, I guess you could call it the Roy Show. There'll be some forging going on tonight, and we are glad to have you. And anybody else who this is your first time here, we are super glad. We hope you enjoyed the live stream. Most of our live streams, we try to have forging, so there will be lots of action going on. And we're happy to see everybody that's saying hi in the comments, and good to have you all.
Yep, good to have everybody in here this evening. Thank you all for coming out and showing up. And sorry it was such short notice. We tried to do one there about a week ago, and yeah, it didn't work out for us to do one. So, but we'll see what we can get accomplished anyhow today, huh? So, all right. So let's go ahead and take our first heat here. This is going to be a fairly simple process. We're going to go over the anvil, Jess. So the first step in this, we're going to remove the square corners off of this piece because this is going to become the outside of our rose and or the last petal of our rose. So we want to round that off because the square won't look too appropriate. Round that off a bit. You don't have to be too crazy with this. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. You just want the end to be somewhat rounded off. And as you can see, I'm not just wailing it. It's more about finesse at this point and accuracy. We don't want to create ourselves more work. But that's the first stage in it. The next stage, we're going to come to the edge of the anvil, and we're going to start segregating out leaves by using the sharp edge of the anvil to to take and drive out this material and give ourselves some space between the actual leaves themselves.
All right, I do have 2 questions for you on the topic of Etsy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see, the first one is from He says, I got a question. Do you recommend to start your own site to sell on, or do you think sites like Etsy is good enough? And that was followed up by a question from Doe Creek Forge on how long did it take you to get your Etsy going? I started a shop 2 weeks ago, but no luck so far.
Okay, I think you could answer those questions pretty well there, Jess. So I'm going to refer that back to you. I'll give you a real quick kind of my take on that. So it takes a while to build up brand awareness, or that to get customers' eyeballs into your store. So liken it to if you had a storefront in a town somewhere or a large city and you put out no self-promotion whatsoever and you just opened up a store. How do people know how to find you? So you have to really make sure that you market yourself very well, and do that by going to Facebook, letting people know that you are selling your products. Go to Instagram, let people know again that you're selling your products. Again, you should be on those anyhow, just for that social connection to begin with before you start selling your products that way. But that should help you out greatly, and then you can let people know where they can find you. Getting out with your surrounding community, letting them know that you do have products for sale on Etsy. All that stuff helps for that. So that will take quite a bit of time, and I'll refer you over to Jessica for facts about those sort of things.
Yeah, sure. When we first started our Etsy store, I think it took about 6 weeks to get our very first sale, and within the first 3 months, we kind of had some sales trickling in. It did take, I don't know, it might have took 6 months to start getting them in on a regular basis. And then as far as having your own website, I do recommend it, even if it's just a basic one-page landing, like kind of a landing page that maybe just has some pictures of your work and a little bit about you. You don't necessarily have to sell on your own website right away, but if you do have that, you can get one for free. I did a tutorial on it like 1.5 years ago on how to set up your own Weebly page for free. And then if you want to register your own domain, I think that's $20 to $30 a year, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so great questions. Thank you for asking them. All right, I think we're hot enough here to go through our first stage of forging. So let's go back to the anvil there, Jess. All right, so this is going to be one of our outer petals. So we're going to want to give this a good amount of space. We're going to give it over 1 inch, probably 1.25 inches of material space there. And we're just going to hammer it straight down. And then we're going to go ahead and do a little less for the next one. And then we'll come out and we'll do one more, again, just a little less than that one. So hopefully you guys can see how that's transpiring there. We're going to take and go over this a little bit more. Now, just to mention, you can use a Hardy tool to split these petals out. The one thing that you'll have to be careful of if you do use that method is that you do not create yourself a situation where you have stress risers, which most likely will happen, but they can be mitigated if you're just doing some careful forging. But when it's a real sharp rise like that on the piece, it can end up causing you issues later on as you're drawing out your petals and you're wrapping it up. It'll break on that stress riser. So just be careful, know your material and what you're working with. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to do 5 of these in total. So it's going to be like a 5 petal rose.
All right, the conversation kind of continues around Etsy and selling, so I'll try to address a few more of those. Yuno says, thank you for the insightful answers. I'm hoping to sell some things after finishing my blacksmithing school. That is great. Corey Shire says, I may be wrong here, but I am thinking that when I start selling, I will sell at craft shows held at county fairs and farmers markets and passing out business cards to everyone who passes by. Corey Shire, that's actually how we started selling. And we kept hearing again and again, people at those craft shows were telling us, you really need to sell online, sell on Etsy. And so it took, I don't know, it might have took half a dozen people telling us that until we finally actually started our store. And by the time we did start our store, we were getting more views on Etsy than what we were at, if you were to count the heads of people passing by at the craft shows. So when you're on Etsy or elsewhere, your items can be viewed all of the time, like around the clock, and that really is really good for getting just the advertising. But yeah, going by word of mouth can also be good as well. With craft fairs, you'll probably want most of your items to be $20 and under.
Yeah, so that's some really great advice, to just copy Jessica on that. Online is where most of your sales are going to come from nowadays. It's just the nature of the beast, if you will. Everybody's online, everybody's on their phone, everybody's connected through social media and things like that. So the sooner you can get to that, the better off you are. But don't, mistake that for it's not good to get out and interact with the public, because sometimes that's where you find your biggest clients, people that have a handrail that they wanted fixed, or maybe they want something made and you just happen to be that first person that they seen to be able to do something like that, and then you can set stuff up locally and in person. So that's still a very valued thing to be able to do and do that, especially if you're starting out and you don't have a presence, we'll say, right off the beginning, right out the gate. So that's definitely valuable in that way. So we're ready, we're good and hot, Jess. Let's go over here again, and then we'll take some more comments and stuff. All right. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and segregate out one more petal. We're going to do these a little smaller. These petals, they're going to get a little progressively smaller. And there we go. We've kind of got our 5-petal rose thing going on here. We're going to hammer each one of those steps a little bit more. Now all I'm just doing is just trying to get it back in line to help out with the next heats or so. All right, so there we are. We've kind of got that going. Now the next trick to this, or trouble of it, or whatever you want to call it, we're going to have to take and spread this petal out. We're going to spread this from this direction out, so on and so forth. This is where the cross peen really shines, to be able to grab that material and work it out away from yourself. And so we'll get this really super hot and do that at this juncture. One other thing that we will do as well, we will actually draw this down, this area down, after we draw out these petals a little bit and get them straightened up. We'll draw this material down for the stem. Now, real quick, you can make, I should mention this. The reason why we're starting at the end of the bar and going down in descending order of petals is because if I'm making, say, my stem the center of the rose and I'm wrapping everything else out around the outside, it's the same way like a rose is. A rose has the smallest petals in the center, largest petals to the outside. You can also do this rose where the largest petals are at the center, or should I say, to where the stem goes out around the outside and kind of corkscrews in. That's another variant of the Russian rose. You can do it either way, just make sure that your petals are descending in order towards where the stem will eventually be. So that means if you're wrapping the stem around the bundle and out on the outside, then that means the very tip of your bar needs to be the smallest petals going up to the largest, and vice versa. It needs to be the largest out at the end going to the smallest towards the center of the bar if you're doing it this way. Hopefully that's not too confusing. I think everybody gets it, but we'll see here. Let me get this straightened back up. And then we'll take some more comments there, Jessica. And I also want to mention a few things here in just a second as well. So go ahead. Hmm?
Okay, I guess it's my turn. I wanted to say hi to a couple of people in the chat there, or people just joining rather. Sully, good to have you. Alex from Ironworks, welcome. Let's see, Campus Wilson, good to have you. And I've also seen some new names in the chat too, so yeah, we're gonna have a great story. There was a question.
Hello.
And Lone South African Bear asks, what weight is best for one's first hammer and all-arounder?
Most people say about a 2-pound hammer, and that's pretty good. That's just a good all-around forging hammer. My hammer is a 1 3/4 pound. I know some people, they champion really heavy hammers. Some people go really light. You need to find the hammer that fits best with you. A great way of doing that is if you can spend a little time in another smith's shop and just pick up some different hammers, or go to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's and just kind of pick stuff up. And you know, you might look a little weird in the aisleway swinging a hammer up and down, but just kind of feel the weight of the hammer and see if that's something you want to swing for a couple thousand hammer blows. It's my suggestion for a beginner just starting off for you to get between a 1 and 2 pound hammer. So about 1.5 pound to 2 pound hammer for an absolute beginner to start off with. And that's where I would stay for the most part. I consider a 3-pound heavy hammer to be a very heavy hammer. So that would be my suggestions on that. We are hot enough to go ahead and pull out one of these petals. Let's go over to the anvil real quick. Okay, so I'm going to do this on the horn of the anvil, and I'm going to start hammering straight out to give my petal some size and shape from the center stem. Again, you can see how that spreads out pretty good. We want that to spread out nice and thin like. This is also why you don't need something super thick. We're spreading this one so large because it's going to inhabit the rest of the bundle. It's going to kind of be one of those outer leaves that protect the center of the bundle. Shouldn't be hammering on it that cold, but I am for just this period of time to try to get that straightened up. The straighter it is, the easier it is to work with just a little bit.
Yes, Roy is using coke, and that does burn very clean, so it doesn't really put off any smoke. And Michael Jolson says, what is a Russian rose and how is it different than a regular rose?
Okay, so the Russian rose, the way that it's different is that it's forged all out of one piece and it's on a strip. You'll see this in a second. A lot of the roses that you see nowadays, roses I've done in the past, a lot of other people are doing, they are stacks of thin sheet metal blanks that go together and then get formed out into a rose. The difference between that and a Russian rose is a Russian rose is done again out of one continuous strip and then it's rolled up. That's the main principal differences. And it has its advantages and disadvantages depending on what you're using it for. One big advantage it has, since it doesn't have any sort of tenons or screws or anything like that, it has not really a place to get water or corrosion in, so this can be done very well or to much advantageousness in, say, like scroll work, gate work, things like that, where the thing's going to be outside and it needs to be able to run water off of it and not trap that in anywhere. This can be a very good rose form for those applications. So that's kind of, I don't know how it got to be called the Russian Rose. It's been called the Russian Rose ever since I've been doing this for, you know, the 10 years plus that I've been forging. I've always known it as a Russian Rose. So.
By the way, I wanted to say a big thank you to Doe Creek Forge for a $20 super chat.
What was the name of the forge again?
Doe Creek Forge.
Doe Creek Forge. Thank you, sir, for the $20 super chat. Was there a question with it or a comment? No? All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. We really do appreciate the $20 super chat. If you guys didn't notice that credit reel to begin with, those are all the names of the people that support these streams, and Jessica and I on a regular basis making these, and we really do appreciate it. And if you want to have your name added to that list next live stream, good way of doing that is with super chat donations, things like that. And that's just how we give back, and we honor people doing that. One of the other ways we give back, I'm going to check this real quick. Maybe I should say this after this next heat. Let's go to the anvil real quick, and I'll peen out something else here, and then I'll continue to talk. Something I'm good at. Using the cross peen again. Drawing up a petal. Okay, there you go. You can see that petal. And I got a little bit of heat in this. I'm going to go ahead and hammer this up. All right, there we go. Now I need to get that hot again. That was almost too cold. I just wanted to take advantage of that heat a little bit more. These are a very quick rose to make when you're not having to demonstrate them. They go really, really quick. Anyways, real quick before Jess goes back and answers any more questions there, I want to take and say this about, where am I at? It's been forever. My brain's lost. Way that we also give back. That's where we were at. One of the other ways we like to give back is with things like this, sticker packs. We like to do giveaways and door prizes here at the live stream, and those super chats, they help fund stuff like this, and our lovely, lovely channel supporters like Dana Maggiore, who printed these stickers for us, which we are super grateful. It allows us to be able to take and give these things away and help support the community out there. And you know, you get some merchandise and things like that, and it's a lot of fun. So again, thank you to all those that support Jessica and I. We do greatly appreciate you, and that's the way to do it. And if you haven't ever been part of the live stream, we're going to do this right now. How's that sound? Sound good? Yeah. We're going to give away a sticker bundle pack. So it comes with one solid Christ-centered Ironworks sticker. It comes with one that's see-through that goes on your doors, car doors, things like that. And then it comes with 2 square versions of those as well. Try to get that put up right. It comes with 2 square versions as well, so 4 stickers in total in one pack. Comes to you in a nice envelope just like this. And we have about 10 of them to give away tonight, don't we, Jess? Yeah. So we have 10 to give away, and just our way of saying thank you to you all for being, well, just being you, being great. We really appreciate it. So the way this works, Jessica's going to scroll real quick up and down, and she's just going to pick a random person wherever the cursor lands in the live stream. If you're here, you're part of the live stream, you automatically enter to win. She's going to scroll, find a random person, and then we're going to write your name on a sticker pack. So Jessica, who do we got?
All right, the winner for this first one is Jared E. Scheidel.
Jared E. Scheidel, I think is how you spell your name or pronounce it. Congratulations, fine sir. You are a winner. All you have to do is contact us christcenterforge@gmail.com. Say, hey, I'm a winner, and provide us your mailing address, and we will ship this out to you post haste. So congratulations, Jerry Lee. And whenever Jessica's ready here, hopefully her microphone's muted too, that way we're not double feeding here. And we will go back to the anvil real quick. Okay. Again, congratulations, and thank you for being here supporting the stream. Alrighty, so there we have it. Now, our next mission here is to draw out this material more and turn this portion into a stem before we continue and end up rolling up the rose portion here.
All right. Yeah, we met so many of you at Quad State. That was awesome. Let's see here. Billy Martin, yeah, it was great meeting you too. Todd Cross, it was good catching up with you. And Uncle Buck's Forge, we appreciate the $20 super chat.
Hey, Uncle Buck, thank you, sir, so much for the $20 super chat, I think Jessica said. God bless you, sir. We really do appreciate it. You know that. Also, I am sorry. It slipped my mind to get back around to your booth to pick up one of your great scissor swedges there, your guillotine tools. I apologize for that. I'll just try to catch up with you sometime when I come back down through Ohio, maybe potentially this upcoming November. I should be back through there, and maybe I can hook up with you there. If you don't know Uncle Buck's Forge, he sells some of the greatest, cheapest tools that you can get there to take and help you in your blacksmithing endeavors. You should definitely go check him out. He's a big friend. Huge friend of the channel, and we really can't say enough about him. All good things, all good things.
Let's see here. Cameron Fisher, we are glad to be back. It's been, I looked and our last live stream was August 30th, so it's been, I think, about a month and a half. And let's see. Arvil-Matics, does Roy make and sell rounding hammers? I'll let you answer that in 1 second. And Rusty Hubcap Forge, we appreciate the $19.99 super chat.
Thank you, Rusty Hubcap Forge. Thank you for the $19.99.999, right? Super chat. We really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. You know that. And to answer the question, I make pretty hammers. I make pretty hammers. Rounding hammers are not my specialty. I do end up making rounding hammers. I've done those several times. I personally like cross pins and stuff, but we can make you whatever you want. You can go over and check out my website if you want to get some prices on custom hammers. But as far as utilitarian, I usually don't make utilitarian hammers. I make really pretty or elaborate hammers. So hopefully that answers your question that way. And that'll be good enough. Jessica, this is super hot. Let's go ahead and get it over here to the anvil and get it forged. Bring this out here. All right, so we've got that done there. We'll play around with this transition here a little bit later. We're going to continue to draw this down a bit more here for about another, say, 4 inches or 100 mil worth here.
All right, I don't think I said hi to you yet, Black Collar Ironworks. We are glad to have you with us this evening. And Yamez, $5 super chat, and he said, so someone recognized me before Roy at Quad State. Hee hee, hugs, Jess and Roy.
That's great, Yamez. Thank you so much, brother, for the $5 super chat. We really do appreciate you, sir. Oh, Yamez is an awesome guy, awesome channel, cool guy to hang out with. I believe Yamez is on Saturday nights, I believe. I believe Yamez is on Saturday nights. He does a live stream. You definitely should check him out if you haven't yet. It's a fun time to hang out over there on his channel at Island Metal Forge, so definitely check him out. Very cool to see you in the house tonight, brother. Thank you for spending the evening with us. So let's go back over the anvil. All right, we're gonna get that straightened up a little bit. I think that should be pretty good for right now. All right, get that cleaned up a little bit. This is a nice, fun project. It's really good to be back at the anvil playing around with this. I really enjoy forging. And again, these are pretty fun to make. So definitely don't mind that at all in the least bit. So the next step in this process, we are going to go ahead and rolling up our Russian rose here. The way we're gonna do that is we're gonna heat up this area right here. We're gonna bend it away, and then we're gonna scroll it up. So we'll scroll it up, then the stem here, we're gonna leave for a second, and we're gonna forge a leaf on this end of the bar stock, a little rose leaf on this end, and we'll bend it back to the rose and then forge weld the stem and draw that out a little bit, and that'll be our little Russian rose. So hopefully that makes perfect sense there. We'll start rolling this up after we bend it. We'll roll up this little pack here. Then we will go ahead and cut this off the bar stock and forge a little bit of a leaf on the end of there, and then fold it back and start the rest of the process of forge welding.
All right. Daniel Crawford says, howdy to all my crazy friends. Sorry, I was just walking in from his truck. Too much dust to see the phone. Daniel, you're going to have to let us know what temperatures to expect here in Texas in about 2 weeks. And so that way we'll be prepared, you know. It's been in the 60s up here in Michigan, so I'm imagining we're going to have to break out our summer clothes when we go back to Texas again. Speaking of that, we have the Good of the Land Fest coming up here shortly, like 2 weeks away or just a little less. So if anybody wants to see what upcoming events we have during this last bit of 2019, go down to the description of this video and I put all the info there. We have 2 forging classes coming up. One's going to be on copper bowls and the other one's going to be 10 hand-forged Christmas gifts. Both of those classes are taking place in Ohio, and then we will be at the Good of the Land Fest here at the end of October, and you can catch up with us there also.
Yep, the Good of the Land Fest will be in Tyler, I believe it is, Texas. It's Tyler, I thought. It's Temple, Texas, sorry. Anyways, yeah, go check that out. Get your tickets if you guys want to come see me out there if you live out in the West. It's bound to be a fun time. I think we got about 2 weeks. And then we'll be heading to there. Long drive. It's going to be 24-hour drive nearly for us from where we're at here in northern Michigan all the way to Temple, Texas. So it's going to be a long drive, but I think it'll be a real fun time. So. Oh man, good thing I'm dieting right now because I need to lose some of this insulation, if you know what I mean there, ladies and gents. Oh.
I got a question for you. I was looking for it. Is from I can't find it exactly at the moment, but he was asking if you have ever seen the technique or done it for making a regular rose from one piece.
Yes, I've seen that technique done before. I even know the guy's name, but it's slipping my mind right now. But yeah, I've seen that technique done before. It seems like a whole bunch of work. It's not exactly a technique that I would choose to do for the result. If I had something like that to do, I would just go ahead and do a Russian rose. It's not going to be the same aesthetically. If it's not that, I would do with the sheet metal blanks instead. But as far as a forging exercise, it would be fun at least to try a couple times on. It could be a fun thing to do there. Let's go over to the anvil, Jess, real quick. This is good and hot. We got to take it when we can get it. And we'll put it right down the hardy hole of the anvil, and we're going to give it a nice bend right there. And we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. I'm going from corner to corner. We want to have a nice tight bend there. Hopefully I didn't. Okay, good. Woo-hoo-hoo! We lucked out there, ladies and gents. We lucked out. I thought for sure there for a second that got stuck. So there we go. That's our first bend. And then we're going to go ahead and take a reheat on this. You could try to go ahead and bend it up right now at this point in time, but I would not suggest it. You want to get a really good hot heat right in this area so you can really get this tightly wrapped to start to wrapping. So we'll go ahead and get that corner real hot. And we'll take one more comment or question real quick.
Cameron Fisher asked, what size bar stock are you using?
I'm using some 3/16 by 3/4 inch bar stock. You'll have to forgive me. I've been away from the metric for a while, so I don't know what that is in metric. But if you know the metric conversion of that, put it in the comment section down below, the chat. Alrighty, we are almost hot. Ready to go? If you're ready, I'm ready. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and go to the corner of the anvil here, and we're going to hit this with our cross peen to start getting it curved. Hopefully you guys can see that going there. And then it's just a matter of getting this to bend and go where you want from here on out. The important part is to get that first part tight as you can get it, because that's going to dictate the rest of the rose for you. So we're starting to get that curve there. Get another heat. You have to remember you've done a lot of shaping to this at this point in time, and it would not be advantageous for you to work this cold. You've done a lot of material manipulation, and that material manipulation, you're building stresses into the piece as you're forging a little bit. So again, get this nice and hot when you're doing these operations so you don't end up having any cracks form that are unrepairable. So we'll go ahead and get that hot one more time and take one more comment.
All right, Ben Wynn Creation says, have you ever made a Stygian dub? That is mostly what I make now, but want to know if it's popular on your side of the pond. I don't think we've heard of that before. Could you write out like a description of what type of item that is?
And And I didn't hear it at all. Acedian dove. No, I haven't. Never heard of it. So it's probably not popular on this side of the pond. Yeah.
Gordon from Interceptors Forge says, Roy, for that reheat to bend in that section, could you use an oxygen acetylene torch?
Yep, definitely viable. You can do that. I'm just illustrating doing this with nothing but the forge, hammer, and anvil. That was just kind of my hope to show what's possible with very simple, almost no tools. You don't have to have a giant anvil to do this on. It could be a railroad track anvil, it could be a Harbor Freight anvil, and you could be making these all day long. It really doesn't matter. The only variant here is it's got to have a hardy hole of some kind. You've got to have a hammer and a heat source, and preferably sharper edges to make those segregations. But once you've got that, you know, you're in good shape. So let's go over to the anvil, Jess, real quick. This is good and hot. We're gonna straighten up that rose a little bit, and we're gonna continue to wrap this right on around. I'm gonna tighten the bottom of the bloom here as we go, and then we're gonna just continue to wrap this right on around. I'm gonna take another heat on it, obviously. Again, don't try to get carried away and do too much all at once. Take your time. The more time you take, the nicer these will end up looking in the end. But we're starting to roll that, start rolling that together.
All right, somebody told me how to pronounce it. Ski-and-do, which turns out to be a Scottish sock knife, is what they said. But as people have mentioned, yeah. Roy doesn't do blades, so no, Roy hasn't done any of those. And then Tony says, I'm a big fan. Just wanted to say thank you to you and your family for all the work you do. We're very welcome, and thank you for being part of the channel. And Yama's asked, question, could you relieve the stress by normalizing the rose while forging?
You can't relieve the stress while you're forging. While you're forging, you're building things in order to relieve the stress. You could, if you wanted to take a break, take a coffee break, go take a lunch break or something like that. You could just heat the whole piece up to critical temperature or just above it, and then let it cool, air cool by the side of the fire. If it's a worry or concern, it's a lot easier just to kind of, you know, pay attention to your hammer work from the get-go, and just don't have to worry about that. So, you know, take your time, heat it up equally, evenly, and just keep the material hot versus having to take the time out to do that. So this is hot again. We're gonna go over to the anvil. Good? All right. So I'm gonna continue to roll this right on around. Hardest part's to keep it squared up. It's gonna wanna keep twisting on you. Go weird. Just wanna start the bend of this right on around. And then hopefully it'll continue to follow and collapse on itself right on around. And right here's where I need to listen to my own advice and go ahead and stop hitting it. So you guys can see how that's starting to roll up nicely, hopefully. And you can see what the bottom looks like. Again, this is a real pretty rose form when done right. You need to be careful. As I've said, be careful building too much stress in this, especially down in this part. You know, this is very prone to twisting right off when you're hammering this down. So we're gonna get this last little petal here heated up, and right on around we'll go with it. As far as the Scottish knife thing, yeah, she wasn't pronouncing it right. I have heard and seen Scottish knives, you know, sock knives, but as everybody else said, I don't do knives. They're not I have no proclivities towards making knives whatsoever. I just do all ornamental type work here in the workshop. So, but great question, and thank you for asking it.
We are glad to have you this time, Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, good to have you here, sir, in the house. Thank you for being here. And, you know, this is fun. We enjoy doing this on Friday nights. You know, every other Friday night was what our posting schedule was before life got crazy and hectic and weird on us there for a little bit. But hopefully we're back in the saddle here and with no other stresses, and let's hope that just continues that way. You know, let's hope and pray, and that'll be good. Go that way. We're good and hot one more time, Jess. Let's go back over to the anvil. Gonna straighten this up. Again, wrap that right on around. Keep my bundle tight. That's really the only main criteria of this type rose. You want to keep that bundle pretty tight. I do have a video tutorial, by the way, of doing another type of Russian rose. It's where it goes the other way, where the stem doesn't come up in the center, but it kind of spirals into the center. If you're interested in seeing that video, you can just check it out on the channel. It should be around. Now, I'm going to leave this rose basically in the closed up position. That's about as far as you can go with it here at the anvil without having to have a pair of scrolling tongs or needle nose pliers to end up giving these petals a little bit more dimension and a little bit more depth, you know, be able to pry them out and stuff. So this, I'm going to leave this one as a closed up rose, but that should be pretty good. Everything's straightened up. Hopefully you all can see that and you like that, like the looks of that there. But that's what you should end up with. Now I'm going to go ahead and let that cool just a little bit more while I give away a few more stickers. I'm going to let that cool down just a little bit more, and then we're going to heat this way back in here, cut this off, and turn this into a rose leaf on this end. So let me let that off to the side, and let's give away some stickers. All right, gotta get my dirty glove off here. So again, we're going to give away another sticker pack. Woo! That has these style stickers in it. There's a total of 4 that come in it. Jessica's going to pick one random winner there in the comments section. She's going to scroll and find somebody, and we're going to give away another set of these. So Jessica, who do we have? Who's the winner?
All right, Doe Creek Forge, we landed on you, and your comment had been, I do whatever pays the bills, LOL.
That's right, Doe Creek Forge. So thank you, sir, so much for being in the chat and being in the live stream tonight. Make sure to email us over at christcenterforge@gmail.com, right? Yep. Right. Go ahead and email us there, and you know, give us your contact info, things like that, so this way we can get these sent out to you. That would be great. Unless you don't want these, and then we'll just give them to somebody else. So let's go ahead and pick one other person, Jess, while we're here. Another winner of the sticker pack bundle, and see who we got.
All right, I landed on Mark Evans. Mark Evans.
Mark Evans. All right. I'm going deaf, guys. I really am. I don't know. Old age here catching up with me. I'll be 31, by the way. But anyways, who cares about that? Mark, congratulations. Thank you, sir. Again, the same thing. Contact us. Contact us through our Gmail account and say, hey, I won, and give us your address so we can ship this out. Really do appreciate it. And let's go ahead and give away one more while we're at it. See who else wins. Drum roll.
All right, Daniel Crawford, I landed on you, and your comment had been, howdy, Mr. Coffee.
Well, howdy, Mr. Coffee. See? Anybody can win. Even you, Daniel. It was an honor to meet you, sir, at Quad State. Again, thank you for all of your support, being here and checking out the live streams, and just, it was an awesome time getting to meet with you, and even helping me crank the hand crank forge there while I was taking and forging a journeyman spike there for Coffee's Forge. So what a better fitting thing. He was saying, howdy, Mr. Coffee. You know, Providence, that's what it is. So congratulations, Daniel. I think we already have your email stuff like that, and address. If we don't, just go ahead and send it to us anyhow. That way we're good and safe. So, how many do we give away now? Is that 4?
4, yeah.
Oh yeah, let's make it even 5. See, you guys are getting lucky. You're getting lucky. Hour in, and this is where all the good stuff happens. Who we got?
All right, it landed on Anthony. I think he said he is from Australia, and his comment was, what would you suggest as a first project when starting out?
All right, Anthony. Well, hello from the other side of the world, the land down under, Australia. Great to have you. Congratulations on winning a sticker pack. And to answer your question, a great thing for you to start forging when you're just getting into it is tapers. Practice your fundamentals. I know that that's a bit dull, it's a bit boring, but everything in blacksmithing is based upon fundamental forging exercises. So I don't care where you want to go into it, whether you want to go into blades, you want to go into ornamental ironwork, you want to go into locksmithing, you want to go into, I don't know, building parts for race cars or motorcycle. It doesn't matter. They all roll back to those fundamentals. Find out what those fundamentals are. We have a Fundamentals of Blacksmithing series here on YouTube that you can go check out if you need a refresher course. And then practice those. Practice, practice, practice. Then maybe move up to making hooks and nails and such, things like that, practical items that you can get a fairly quick sense of accomplishment out of, and you can hang them up on your wall and say, hey, look, here's the progression that I had. But just forging 10 tapers or making 10 bends, you'll end up you'll see a progression of your work that way. And then you just keep doing that. Just keep practicing those things, because really, blacksmithing, you can have a lot of head knowledge, and there's a lot of people that do, but it's time spent at the anvil that really matters the most. So practice your fundamentals real well, and then move into doing like hooks and nails and like barbecue fire pokers and squirrel cookers and things like that on those smaller traditional items, and then move into your more specialty stuff where you want to take it from there. And you should be well set up and have a pretty good foundation in it then. Hopefully that answers the question well. So, all right, this is good. It's cooled down now to the touch on this side, because obviously I soaked it in a bucket of water. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick this whole thing through the fire, and I'm going to get just this area up nice and hot so I can cut that bar stock off in order to take and forge out my leaf shape.
Peter Collins, we are doing well this evening, and Popo Plays has a question for you. What do you use to quiet your anvil?
Okay, so my anvil is basically, my anvil off the anvil stand will ring like a bell. It will gong and play a pretty little note from now until next century. Trust me, it will. It will really, ring your bell, so to speak. The way that I have quieted my anvil down, no special tricks, no nothing. It sits on a solid steel anvil base that's about it's 3 inches, no, it's 2 inches thick, that's right. It's a 2-inch thick solid steel base, and it's one that is a fabricated base, so it has 3 legs. But the trick to it is those legs are filled with sand, and that sand that's in those legs retard vibrations. And since they retard the vibrations, you can't sing a pretty note. So when I'm hitting here, it dullens it out. If I get over here, you can hear it a bit more because it can vibrate more out on the horns versus in the center of the anvil where the core is. And that's true about any anvil. The harder you can secure that anvil down to anything, whether it be a stump, the ground, concrete pillar, whatever you're using as a base, the more solid you can make it attached to that to retard the vibrations, the better off you'll be. Yep, sure.
Interceptors Forge says, Roy, would it be a good idea for me to send out sample pieces to firms?
What forge?
Interceptors Forge.
Interceptors Forge. If you have architectural pieces that you want, that is probably the best ideal. You can get people in, say, you can find different people that want your items, your architectural pieces in their home via the internet, just by osmosis. People just come out and find you. And it works out very well or very serendipitous for you. But for the most part, if you're trying to branch out into the architectural ironwork area, the best way for you to do is to go around to home builders, go around to home building associations, realtors, things like that, and just start name dropping yourself. Bring a sample, a catalog of your work that maybe they can show to their clients. Offer them a little spiff or a commission if they do recommend you to somebody and that person gets a sale. Those sort of things, that'll help get you into that space. The hardest thing for you to do is to get into that space. But once you're in there, your name starts getting dropped around to other people who like your work, and before you know it, you got more work than you can shake a stick at, maybe a few employees. So that doesn't happen for everyone because, again, your work has to be good enough for somebody to like it well enough for it to be in their home. And when I say good enough, that's not my standard of good enough. That's not the world standard, Facebook standard of good enough. That's a client's standard of good enough. That means you need to be able to forge to specification, to design, to area, to code. If you can do that and it looks and it has the look that the homeowner's wanting, you can really do pretty darn well at that. So yeah, go around. If that's your aim or your angle or your pursuit to get into is architectural work, that is a great ideal. Sorry, long answer, but I think it would help everybody in the community. That's why I give out some elaborated on answers in that. So hopefully that was okay for you. Let's go to the Anvil, Jessica.
Okay.
We're going to take a soft face hammer here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this material off from both sides. All right, that's going to be good enough. Twist that off. Very well. Sure, why not? Fall to the ground. Woohoo! We're going to get this off the anvil. And I'll just go set this down real quick. And let me find a pair of tongs and pick up this little rose here. Excuse me for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen.
While he's doing that, I'll just say a couple of thank yous. Fritz, I'm not going to try to pronounce your whole name because I know I won't be able to. Said wonderful channel, wonderful artwork, and wonderful people. Love it. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, and thank you for joining us. Let's see, Graham Pepper. Hey, it's nice to have you, Graham. Thanks for coming in. I hope you've been having a good week, pal. And Mike Crescenta asked, could you just use a cold chisel to make the parting cut?
Yeah, you can just use a cold chisel to make the parting cut as well if you don't have a hardy tool. Mine's just quick and easy. It's right there, so it works pretty good. Cold chisel as well, that'll work. Hot cut, that'll work. Top, hot cut, handle, anything that can basically sever through. If you're lacking all that, you can just use a sharp edge of the anvil and whack it off that way. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it can be done that way for certain. So,
let's see here. Black Collar Ironworks, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, we're all happy you guys are back, and is it safe to make borax jokes now? And check your guys' lap yap later, which I figured out he was writing PayPal backwards. So I gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, we'll look at the lappy app or whatever, whatever you called it there later. And yes, the flux jokes may proceed on as usual. you know, we really do enjoy this, and we've missed this a lot. Of course, I mean, we just had to take the mental break. You know, too much stuff going on, and our life has been absolutely insane. You know, stuff like that, just no one's prepared for things like that, and it just, you know, knocks you off your horses. No matter how high of a horse you were riding. I was riding on the undercarriage of the horse, but even fell down from that side. So I'm sure some of you can sympathize with how that is. But again, your guys' support, your kind comments, your prayers, your thoughts, your best wishes, all that stuff really helped Jessica and I get through a tough time. We really can't say thank you enough. You know, again, thank you so much for that. It feels good to be back. Feels good to be standing here demonstrating again. You know, and I can't wait to do more of that at the Good of the Land Fest as well, and just be able to get out and hang out with people and, you know, just chat with people and fans and subscribers. And it's weird to say fans, but for me, but that's just going to be a real fun time. We're looking forward to that as well. As much a fun time, hopefully, as it was at Quad State this year. That was good for us to get out and hang out with you all. So we really do love you there, Blacksmith family, and we really do appreciate you. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chats and the kind wishes and all your flux jokes. All your flux jokes. So this is good and hot. Let's go ahead and forge out the tip of this leaf real quick. So you're going to find real quick that you have an odd shape to hold on with with a pair of tongs. That's okay. You can still make it work. We're just trying to take and forge a little leaf action on the end of here. And then we're going to go ahead and reduce the back here. Make it a little more stemmy. All right, so that's about what you're wanting for the rose leaf there. And now it's time to go ahead and forge that out into the leaf.
We have a question here from Stephen McDaniel. He says, Roy, would a basic thumbnail hook work with no twist, nothing fancy? Could I sell that with a drilled hole instead of a drifted hole?
A basic
hook with a drill hole.
Yeah, yeah, you can sell that. We've had people ask us before when we were selling the horseshoe nail hooks if we could not put a twist in them. Again, that kind of goes more with a contemporary aesthetic. Contemporary ironwork is very straight, plain, clean lines, but not a whole lot of elaboration, not a whole lot of I've been learning some bigger words. Opulence. Look that one up in the dictionary and type it into the chat. Yes, I went to Google to find out what that meant. But anyways, yeah, so that's a great way. That's a great way of selling the same item but to different clients. So, you know, you use a smooth hook, then you do one with a twist, then maybe one with an alternating twist, then maybe one that has a basket twist, or so on and so forth. And you can make basically the same item. You're making a hook, but you're changing one little element, and that's the selling feature for whoever it is. So you can develop multiple products around one essential item, say a standard J hook or a drive-in wall hook or something like that. That's a great way of doing that, and it's a great thing for a customer as well, because then they actually get options. They get options to buy. They don't have to just have a twisted hook, because that's all that anybody's selling out there. So definitely go for it. You might sell them like gangbusters, and then you might not sell one. So make up a whole bunch of different varieties and see what works. What else?
Okay, it looked like you're about to pull out of the fire there. So, Gordon from Interceptors Forge says, Roy, thank you for the inspiration for getting me into blacksmithing and this great blacksmithing family. Peace, love, and respect.
God bless you, sir. I'm glad I could be a part of your journey, your beginning journey in blacksmithing. And remember, there is a lot of really great blacksmiths out there that you can learn from. A lot of them are willing to teach what they know very openly. And you know, your journey has just begun down this rabbit hole I call blacksmithing. You know, you had just the taste of the addiction so far. So again, thank you for the accolades there. I really do appreciate you, and that's awesome. I love hearing that I've been able to help somebody get started. One more, and then on we go.
Right, Rigid Ironworks says, hey guys, had no idea you were on, but I'm glad I didn't miss it. Welcome back. Thank you. And we try to post on Facebook before we have a live stream most of the time, and Instagram too. So if anybody wants to follow us in those ways and kind of get some extra notifications, that's a good way that you can do it.
Awesome. All right, we ready? Let's do this, ladies and gents. Let's go back over to the anvil. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and spread out the leaf. Now you can make this leaf look however you like. You can make it longer, narrower, add serrated veins, do whatever you want there, add whatever texture you want to it. I'm adding just some very light veining to it, just to give it a little bit of texturing. And that'll be good for me, for my likings anyhow. For the demonstration, that'll work. So there we have it. Just a real simple leaf, and we're gonna fold that back up to the rows now.
All right, let's see. Rigid Ironworks says, I've been off work for a week due to an injury. Boy, am I bored. Sorry to hear that. I hope you get to feeling better soon. And Roy, there's a question for you. It was a little earlier. I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, but it was about nails and nail headers, and if it was a good idea to either purchase a nail header or to make one, and if you had found it worthwhile to make nails to sell.
Okay, good. Rigid Ironworks, I feel for you, brother. Prayers for speedy recovery for you. I wanted to start with that as well. And to whoever asked the question about nails. Now, I have never been one to sell nails. That's never been my forte. I've maybe made, I think I've maybe made 30, maybe 50 nails in my entire blacksmithing career. So I'm not the one to take an ask on that. Now, however, there is a guy by the, that is his handle on Instagram and Facebook, and also here on YouTube is Axe and Anvil. I would suggest you check him out. He sells a lot of nails, so he has found a niche in that, and he might be somebody to ask a little bit better on that. As far as nail headers go, unless you are comfortable with the tool steel and the time that it's going to take to make a nail header, it may be more advantageous for you to buy a commercially made nail header to start if your interest is that you want to make nails. Reason for that being is an improperly made nail header will cause you a lot of grief when it comes to making a nail. Your nails will stick, they won't come out of the header properly, you'll bend them over. You might even do like I did on my very first nail header I ever made. I ended up having to drill the nail out because I had riveted it into the hole by accident. So just starting with a professionally made quality tool, that'll help save you in the long run. Just start practicing making your nails to begin with. And once you get your nails practiced that way, and you decide it's something you really want to go after, you can make your own nail headers in whatever size you want then. That would be my suggestion for that. Hopefully that answers the question well enough for anybody who's considering making nails.
Rigid Ironworks says that he had cut off part of his finger, but on the bright side, he still has 9 fully intact.
All right, Stumpy. I've done that too myself. These 2 fingers, I've severed these 2 fingers, this pointer and thumb, before. So that sucks, really does. Sorry to hear that, it's painful. Again, speedy recovery. And you know, just think of all the great joking opportunities. Think about all the cool war stories you can tell now. You can just make it up to whatever you want every time you see somebody. If you're missing a finger, man, it could be everything from a shark attack to an alligator to a slip up with a kitchen knife to got it caught under a power hammer. You can make up any sort of story. You're set. It's gold now. When you're that old man sitting on the liar's bench, you're gonna be set. You're gonna be set for life. Stories for days. I'm always trying to look for the upside. Sorry. Hopefully I'm not being too insensitive. One more.
Okay. Doe Creek Forge says, as a beginner blacksmith, right at about a year's experience, what would you expect to be making? And I think he's saying like financial wise, maybe. Or it could be project wise too. Maybe you'll have to specify.
Yeah, Doe Creek Forge, clarify for me what you want to know there. What you ought to be making skill level wise or financially wise if you're trying to do it as a business. Let me know in the comment section. If Jess can pick that up, that'll be great. But until we know that, let's head over to the anvil and we're gonna go ahead and bend this, Jess. All right, we've got the part that we want bent to where it's hot enough. We're gonna go ahead and bend this directly in 2, or almost directly in 2. We want this leaf to just basically come around. It's gonna look kind of dopey there. We just want this leaf to come around and line up, preferably with this rose stem here. I'm gonna have to flip this around where it's a little easier for me to connect with it. There we go, just grip the leaf. I hate grabbing the leaf because sometimes you wreck the texture you put on the leaf, so sometimes I hate doing that. So we're just going to get that set up for our forge weld here. Also, if you're building this out as a branch, like a rose branch with a bunch of roses on it and stuff, this is your first setup weld for a branch. You would forge weld this together, you would scarf it, and then you would weld it onto another piece, another bar that has preferably something else like this, again, like a rose. But that's all set up and ready for a weld. We're gonna go ahead and put that in and bring it up to a full welding heat and get this welded.
Drayson's Forge says, be well, Roy and Jess, and all you great folks. Gonna deck out, been a long day. Hope you have a great evening, and thanks for stopping in for a while.
Yeah, Drayson's Forge, good to have you here. Hope you have a great evening, sir.
Let's see here. Jason Tanner says, I'm going to be working on my first project. Any help you can give? My project is making an axe.
He's gonna be, hold on a sec. Sorry, ladies and gents, my little damper on the bottom to control the airflow broke just before the live stream, so I've got a shovel, coal shovel, propped up against it right now, trying to block it off to control my airflow. So this forge weld might not take tonight, and It's a valid excuse because it's that damper. The damper is the fault. Just remember that later on. What did he say? I'm sorry, I did not get the question.
Any advice on making an axe?
Any advice on making an axe? Watch John Switzer over at Black Bear Forge. Great channel to watch. He's made axes and adzes a couple different ways, I believe, over on his channel. As far as the advice I can give you is start small first and then move up to the larger stuff. Get your techniques down on, say, something the size of a camp axe or hatchet or maybe a tomahawk. I've forged most those. I've forged those before, but as far as like a large full-size axe that you could put into play for hewing or things like that, I have not done one of those yet. Although I do have a video coming up, hopefully around the first of the year, I will be having a video coming up where I will be forging a hewing axe for some of the different projects I have going on around here. So be on the lookout for that. All right, we're good and hot. Go to the anvil. Go back in here. See how far we can take that. We've got a few seconds before the next heat. If you want to give me one more question.
JD Ordner says, do Frederick's crosses make money and are they worth making?
Our crosses? Frederick crosses? Yeah, they're definitely worth making. You can make a good amount of money off of those, pay-wise. It just depends on your market and how big the cross is. They can be a viable option. I know that there's one smith I've met before that's all he's made. He's spent basically a decade of smithing making nothing but Frederick's crosses. So again, total possibility. We're hot, go to the anvil. All right, brush that up real good. I'm brushing it real heavy to see how my welds took. My weld out on the end's done really well. Now I'm going to try to go ahead and I'm going to go up the branch a little bit and try to weld up here just a little higher. So we're going to try to get that back in the fire and get it hot without burning everything else up. We'll see how that works. Question?
All right. Newt's Leather, I just wanted to say, like way earlier in the stream, I had seen your comment that you had personally got a lot of traffic, like word of mouth, and just from people seeing your aprons being used by other blacksmiths. And yeah, you've taken on a terrific way of marketing just by kind of getting yourself in the YouTuber blacksmith niche, and then when people wear your aprons and stuff like that, it gets exposure. So that's a terrific way of marketing. And then the other question was from Ouroboros Armory, and she asked, is your work mostly commissioned, making it after an order, or is it stocked for Etsy and local sales?
Okay, great question. I'm gonna see how we're doing here. Okay, we got just a few more moments here before I gotta pull that out. Most of my work now is commission based. Very little do I sell that is already pre-stock that's done before. Now, I have pictures online for an online presence, and people check those out and then they come order other things from me. But most of my work now has transitioned to where it's all custom order based, all commissioned work right now, currently. And it kind of comes and goes. It just depends on the year. You know, it really just depends on the year, the month, and things like that. Sometimes I sell up a bunch of stuff that I have sitting on the shelf. Other times that just sits up there as a good holding place for getting people to my site to contact me about custom commissions. But most of my work's custom commissions now. All right, ready? Into the anvil we go. Take one more heat on that. Back in the fire. And I am not using, by the way, I am not using that dreaded word called flux. But if, say, you were to use flux, now's an appropriate time to use flux. And the reason why I say that is because we've created a situation where we can trap scale in between our welding planes. And that's where flux really comes in and shines as cleaning out through capillary action the two welding surfaces to be welded. So again, you can use flux at this stage. So we're going to go right back to the anvil, Jess. No, I'm going to have to take another higher welding heat on that one. Again, right now is a perfect time. If you're having struggles with it getting welded, now's the time to use flux. So I'm going to try to get this, and my damper fell down. Come on now.
See, I have a quick question for you from Tokay. Do you still occasionally make any variations of mokume with non-ferrous metals?
Make any variations of what? Mokume. No, I don't really have a call to do a lot of mokume work. We're going to try to get this really good and hot. We're going to focus here for just a second before we answer any more questions. Fighting this damper just a little bit. It's kind of just a little bit of a pain. We're going to bring this up nice and hot and not burn it completely into. That up there. So what I'm doing here right now is, right now I'm getting way too much oxygen in the fire, but I can't really play with the damper too much to get the oxygen level where I want. So I'm kind of running and gunning the fire here, trying to bring as much heat to it as I can, oxygen-wise, and then pulling it out just before it just burns to nothingness. So not the greatest way to go blacksmithing. To the anvil, Jess. Yeah, and that's as far as we're going to get that welded up. So I'm getting too much airflow and it's scaling up between my pieces. So let me get that straightened out a little bit. And now we're going to go ahead and use that evil thing called flux. Because when you're having to do this, this is the time to do it. Hopefully, you guys probably can't see that there, but there's a small gap that's running right here, and I've thinned this piece now. It's welded from here up, and that's good, but where I was trying to weld it in here, it didn't take because of the amount of oxygen I'm having to put through the forge right now. I'm gonna set that right on top for a second. Go over here behind the camera, behind the scenes. Grab this can of flux that hardly ever gets used. Trying to pull some of this air away here. All right. And man, I don't even have anything on hand. Jessica? Yeah. This is rough, huh? I need a screwdriver or something. Let me see here real quick. You can go ahead and field me another question while I'm at it here. I'm going to shove this into the side of the fire.
There was a question slightly earlier about if you could use flux cord. I should probably try to find it. About using flux core wire for Damascus, if that was possible to do without welding.
Yeah, you've butched that.
Black Collar Ironworks has a $5 super chat and said the secret word for today's kids is borax.
Ew! Not the B word.
Daniel Crawford said, ask Roy what your opinion on a third borax, a third iron filings, and a third sand for wrought iron welding.
Daniel Crawford, completely not needed, is my answer to that. I'll sprinkle this on just a little bit here. One side only, nice and light. Go over to the anvil, Jess, right here. You can see, one side only, nice and light. This is anhydrous borax here. I got this from Jamie Greer at a blacksmithing class, comically enough, a forge welding class. Oh. Again, we're putting that just on one side so it can wick that dirt out from between the joints that are inhibiting our weld right now. Again, if you can control the airflow in the actual forge, I don't know where you're at. You're probably up at the main camera, huh? Okay, if you can control the air, the oxygen level that's in the fire, you don't need the borax. Since my damper's broken and I can't specifically control my airflow right now, it's kind of hit or miss. That's causing it to oxygenate or over-oxygenate in the fire, and it's creating scale in between my welding surfaces. You want the heat, but without the oxygen. So that's kind of how you want to be, and that's the main important thing on forge welding. When it comes to forge welding wrought iron is self-fluxing. It already has everything it needs. It has the silica or silicates in it that create its own flux, if you will. It's a self-fluxing piece. The only time that you use borax in that application, or a little bit of sand or something like that, is when you're trying to weld high carbon steel to wrought iron. That's one of those instances where you might use a little bit of flux. But for the most part, you don't have to use any flux when it comes to wrought iron. When it comes to most metals that aren't, dissimilar, if you will, two dissimilar metals. Hopefully that's making some sense, somewhat. So now we're going to try to get this heated up here. There we go. Next question, real quick.
There is a little bit of a discussion kind of going on around galleries and whatnot. Most of the galleries we had done, they had a 30 to 40% commission. 55% commission, that is pretty high. And so normally with commissioned, when we did do a little bit of gallery work and stuff like that, we would take whatever we want to make out of the item and then just add their markup on top of it.
Let's go to the anvil, Jess. Very light, go back in this, bring it back up hot. Yeah, when it comes to galleries, things like that, I'll talk a little bit while I'm waiting for this next heat here. Try to yell at you before I go to the anvil. But when it comes to galleries, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen with galleries, that they are not really worth it, in my opinion. Now, some people would probably disagree, especially gallery owners, but they don't do enough for their 50% cut, in my opinion, other than provide a shelf for your stuff to sit on, and you can do that online. Go back over to the anvil. Now, with that being said, there are certain areas of this world and locations that being exhibited in a gallery is almost a must for people to know about you. And in that case, if you're in a place where, you know, a gallery has high foot traffic and it's known for attracting very wealthy clients, then a gallery is a place you want to go. But if it's just a generalized gallery somewhere and they're wanting to take 50% of your money away before you've ever made it, that's not a gallery I would be a part of personally. I've been a part of galleries before in the past, and they didn't really work out for me as far as I've had stuff stolen from me at galleries. A lot of them have a thing where if anything's damaged or lost or stolen, they don't reimburse you in any way, and so they don't have anything on their end that they have to do to take and promote your product other than charge you 50% of the sale price when something sells. And to me, that's poor business. If it was more of a partnership where they were really going in and they were really trying to market your stuff and they were like your salesman and they were trying to sell you a railing or a gate or something like that, they would be worth it. But most gallery owners are not doing that because they have one too many artists or who knows what. So, but that would be my suggestions on that, you know, my thoughts anyhow, I should say, my opinions that I put out on the net. If you're a gallery owner and you'd like to prove me wrong, let me know. Contact me through my email and maybe I'll take and drop something off at your place and we'll see if it sells. It'll make a good video, wouldn't it? All right, so let's go back over the anvil horn real quick. Good and hot. Draw that out into a little bit of a stem. We're going to leave it somewhat rough and stem-like. Go ahead and brush her real good. All right, flip this around. And now we're ready to take and do the final little bit of tweaking to turn this in to the final rose bit here. Hopefully you all see that. Hopefully you like that. It's coming together well. A little forge welded Russian rose. All right, more comments.
Sure. I also just wanted to notate we're up to 138 viewers currently in the chat, so that's awesome. If you guys are liking this, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And we are roughly about 20 minutes out from the end of the stream, if we're prompt with our times anyway. And so whenever you do get a chance, Roy, we should try to do another sticker giveaway, but when it's a non-crucial time. So.
Yep, I'm going to do that here in a minute. Just as soon as we finish this little rose up, we're going to give away 5 more stickers. It feels good to give stuff away. Something I'm good at. I like to do that. We're going to go over to the anvil real quick. All right, now we're going to hit on our leaf here. Take her out, straight out if we can. Now, an important thing to do with your leaves and the like is to remember, blah, 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 blah. You want to remember that most rose leaves just come off straight. There's not too much curvature in them in the like. It's usually a fairly straight experience, so they're They come off just about straight at a straight tangent off the actual rose itself. So just something to keep in mind there. And I will use my other pair of tongs here real quick, if I can. Straighten that up. Use my other pair of tongs here to just kick that rose leaf out just a little bit. A little extra bit really sells it. So there you go. There you have it. There's a Russian rose, all welded using nothing but hammer, anvil, and tongs, the least amount of tools that you can. Let's not forget that Hardy tool. That could be considered a special tool if you don't have one. Again, you can do that with a cold chisel or just use the sharp edge of your anvil as well. That's definitely an option. But we're going to just get that all brushed up. Something you can add to this is go ahead and add a little bit of brass brushing to it. Which, why the heck not? We've got time, right? Let's add a little bit of brass brushing to it here. Step around the camera. One of these days, I'm going to have like 6 different angles that you can watch all at one time. One of these days. So we're going to brass brush the leaf just a little bit. Just mainly trying to focus on hitting the highs. And then we're going to hit the high tops of the rose itself with the brass brush. And this is like the perfect temperature to do your brass brushing if you're going to do it. Again, I'm just trying to hit those high points with the brass brush itself. There we go. A little more on the rose. I'll go cool this off to set in the color. And there you have it. One finished Russian rose. Nice. Hopefully you all can see that pretty well. It's probably out of focus, but it's good right here. Okay, so see? There you go. All forge welded up the stem. Again, if you were adding this to something else, when you had forge welded it, you would have scarfed it and added it to another bar long before this point. But considering I'm just going to make this, and I'll probably just make up a nice little flower vase for it out of a piece of pipe, I'll just stick this down in it. And so it doesn't need to be any more than what it is, any more elaborate than what it is. But there you have it. Little Russian rose, really nice and sweet there. Jess, let's go back up to the main cam. I'm going to scoot all this coal around here. And I'm going to shut my blower off. That's going to be a big key there. Let's shut that blower off. Hopefully I haven't been yelling and screaming in people's ears too much tonight. And I know it can sound like that sometimes. And let's not forget, let's put our nasty little friend here away. I want to seal that up so I don't suck a bunch of moisture there. Put that away for some other day. And yeah, here we go. Set that up, let that cool. Good to go.
Hey.
Good to go.
By the way, Alan Murdoch had commented, it won't show on the chat, but I sent a small contribution to fix the damper.
Thank you, Alan Murdoch. Really appreciate it, brother. It doesn't have to show in the chat in order to take and be appreciated. Thank you, Alan Murdoch. We do appreciate you. And God bless you, sir, for that. Really appreciate that. Every little bit or lot of bit or medium bit or whatever bit helps. It really does. So, all right, let's go ahead and give away these last 5 sticker packs. Again, thank you to everybody who donates in the live streams via Super Chat and or at our PayPal link. That's just like a donate button, a PayPal donate. We do appreciate you, and you guys are what allow us to be able to do things like give away sticker bundles and afford the shipping and all that stuff all across the world. And hopefully we can get back on track. Not in the month of October, hopefully sometime in the month of November, December timeframe, we can get back to doing a larger giveaway with some different stuff, really cool items, so to speak. Not that stickers aren't cool, but try to give away a bunch of other type of items as well, just to help y'all out there. I've got some kind of big plans in my mind, and we'll just see if those come out. But again, Jessica's going to pull out a name out of the hat randomly here in the chat. And she'll let me know what it is.
All right, it is from BS Small Engines and says, I'm buying a propane forge, but that is only because the closest place that sells coal is 3 hours away.
Woohoo! BS Small Engines, congratulations. I'm glad you are in the chat, sir. Get with us. Again, christcenterforge@gmail.com. Send us your information so this way we can send you out this sticker bundle. And yeah, good luck with the gas forge. Gas forge can be just as efficient if it's built up right or set up right. They can be a great tool. I have both. I have coke, I have green coal, I have gas forges, I have torches, I have it all. Well, not at all, but I have the tools that make the job the easiest for me. So, and you just want to select what those are. But again, congratulations. Thank you very much for being part of the stream. All right, let's pull one more random person.
All right, the next one is JG Clark 45 says, sticker me please.
JG Clark, you've been stickered. You have been stickered. Wear them proudly. Oh, I guess I should say this. I don't know if anybody has went away. Congratulations, JG Clark. Again, send us an email with your address, that sort of thing, yada, yada. I should say this. Do not stick these to things that you don't mean for them to be stick to permanently. Don't stick them on your child. It'll be a birthmark forever, okay? So, like, these are very hard to get off things. Like, they don't come off. So, wherever you're putting them, make sure it's in a location that you're allowed to take and put them. And that you don't mind them being there indefinitely. So,
No vandalism.
Yeah, no vandalism. I don't want that associated with the name of Christ Center Ironworks there. All right, let's pull one more person, Jess, another person. I think what are we up to now? How many people?
That was number 7. So we still have
Number
3 more
7.
to go.
We have 3 more to go. That was number 7. Woohoo! All right, she's going to scroll and find someone at random here.
All right, Fire Safe says, howdy y'all from Houston, Texas.
Fire safe. Howdy. Good to see you. Hopefully I will see you down at the Good of Land Fest. That would be awesome. So well, I don't have no clue how far that is, how close that is to Houston, Texas. But regardless, good. Glad you're in the stream. Send us your address, christcenterforge@gmail.com. Next person.
All right, 2 more, yeah?
2 more.
All right, Manga 12 says, yeah, but Roy, don't you have heavy oil or wood? About removing the stickers, I think.
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah, you do. I do have some different options that you can take stickers off. But yeah, Manga 12, congratulations. I think we have your address, and I believe your name's Jeremy, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I got that right. I don't know if I'm wrong. let me know, sir. And it's kind of hard sometimes because I get used to knowing you all by your screen names on YouTube. We talked about this a lot at Quad State, is that, you know, almost instead of name badges with your actual name, we need like your screen name on your name badge in order to know who you are when you show up and say hey, because a lot of people are like, hey, you know, I saw you, or I didn't get to talk to you, or this or that, and it's very difficult when it's like, oh, my name's Jeff, and there's like 800 Jeffs there at the Quad State. You know, it's kind of Jeremy. Boom! Look at that. I remember. See? I remember. So what? We got one more?
We do.
One more. All right. Drum roll, please, people. Drum roll. Let's see what's going on.
We have Handyman Ironworks says, stickers are cool, pick me.
Well, there you go. Handman, you got one. You got a packet of stickers coming your way. Again, Alex, contact us. Send us your information so we may stalk you online. No, just joking. Send us your address so we can send you some stickers, brother.
That's a bad joke, but especially for somebody who's under 18.
Yeah, I gotta watch myself. Whoops. You know, the fun thing about this is I think some people, they don't subscribe to like our newsletter over at blacksmithpdfs.com. They don't subscribe to that because they think we're going to spam them with like sales stuff and things like that, and we just don't. We don't have time to sit and spam you. That's number one, you know, or people get kind of leery about sending their addresses and things, and we've had a few of those when they've won something before. They're like, I don't know, maybe I'll just send it across the coast. It's like, literally, we don't have time to come to your house and stalk you. We're not in the bushes, you know. We're not gonna send you like 5,000 emails, you know, about some sort of healthcare product you need to buy. We get enough of those emails ourselves. Just being as a public figure, if you will, on YouTube, we get a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We get a lot of product review requests and you name it and stuff. And you all know how I feel about that. I don't do sponsors on this channel. My sponsors are you all out there. When we do live streams and people do the super chatting, or people support and they buy power hammer plans or tooling plans or ebooks over at blacksmithpdfs.com, like that sort of thing. Every time you share one of our videos, that's supporting us, and that goes so much further than, you know, me saying, hi, these are the type of tongs I use. These are the type of tongs I endorse. Buy them now. And I'm making like $500,000 behind the scenes for, you know, selling you tongs. You know, the closest thing we come to that is I do provide links, Amazon affiliate links, which gives me a small kickback if you buy something through the link at no additional cost to you. That's the closest thing I come to a sponsorship on this channel. Other than that, it's completely crowdfunded from you guys out there, and we really do appreciate it. We do, don't we? Don't we? And that's why I feel that it's important to do giveaways and things like that, you know, on Friday night live streams, and, you know, every other week or maybe once a month. You know, I don't know how it'll go. Eventually I want to give away like tools and tool sets and bundles of things like that to smiths that are needing them, and be able to just do door prizes, big door prizes for right in the stream, because that's what I like to do. It makes me feel good to give stuff away. It does. It makes me feel good to give stuff away. And so I'm going to continue to do that on this channel as much as I can humanly afford. With that being said, I just want to thank everybody for giving me of your time this evening, and Jessica, and coming out and hanging with us. I know it's been a really long time. We appreciate you all sticking with us even though in our absence. And we've been gone quite a bit here lately and stuff. We do have some new videos coming out. A lot of those videos are videos I filmed prior to our stint away here on YouTube. So those are coming out in slow succession, and I'm working on a few more upcoming, but a lot of them are probably going to be focused around me getting ready to go for the Good of the Land Fest and some additional projects, customers' orders. I'm going to try to film this 19th century padlock build that I'm doing. I'm going to try to get that filmed for YouTube, so that ought to be awesome for you guys. I hope it'll be awesome for you guys. We'll see how well it'll go. I'm way behind for my customer on that, so I hope to get that filmed. We'll have to see how that goes. Also, I've got some special gentlemen that have bought hammers from me, and I haven't forgotten about you, and I will get those. I will get started on those right after the Good of the Land Fest. Just that, you know, that way I can get caught up and get ready to go to the Good of the Land Fest, and then I'll come back and get focused in on those. So again, thank you all for your patience with me. Anybody who's ordered, you know, hammers from me, custom orders to take and help support Jessica and I, we really do appreciate you, and we will get on those as soon as we get back and get back to doing some videos. There'll be a lot of videos on that. I enjoy doing videos as much as the next guy, don't I? I do. It's hard. She's sitting clear over there she's sitting over there like 20 feet away from me. So.
It looks like we're both looking the same direction, like towards this wall over here.
Oh, it looks like we're both looking that way. That's probably messing people up, ain't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so final comments, honey, before we go, or should we just jet?
Yeah, there's a few good ones here. BS Small Engine says, I can't wait to see all the blacksmiths using the power hammer at the Good of the Land Fest. We had to lift the mixer by hand into the shop to pour the pad for it.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. We'll see if I could get any run time on that. I don't know. I mean, I'm swinging above my weight belt there. You know, there's a lot of other people that spend a lot of time on power hammers, so I'm imagining they'll probably gravitate towards the power hammers more than I will, and I'll just stick at the hammer and anvil and do my teaching that way. We'll see how it goes. I definitely want to do a little test drive of the power hammers that Justin there has redone. That's going to be pretty cool just to play with it, see how well of a job he's done. Tell him that I'm coming for him. I'm going to test it out. I'll let him know what I think. He'll get a kick out of that.
Someone said for a giveaway, you should give away some borax. It's like anti-Roy right there.
You know what? And I could do it. I could do it in some small little plastic baggies. Just some small little plastic baggies, all cut and ready for sale. I could send them out. What do you think? What do you think?
I think that would go over very well.
Can you imagine somebody like pulling that off to the side? They get that through the X-ray machine. You're never going to get your borax. And I'm totally wasting some dude at Homeland Security's day.
Let's see, Hanneman Ironworks. Alex, the best shipping company to use? We personally like UPS the best, but we do use USPS quite a bit just because they're the cheapest, but that means that we spend some extra money and time in making sure our stuff is really well packaged so it doesn't get destroyed in the processing.
Is your mic live? No. Okay. So, the shipping, always package your stuff really well. Always get third-party insurance if you can. If you don't get third-party insurance, you're probably going to regret it because most shipping companies, like USPS, they only cover up to $100 themselves without third-party insurance. So you don't get stuck out putting out an $800 order. They lose it for you, then you only get $100 in insurance for that. That's happened to me once, and only once. After that, got third-party insurance, and they've lost a lot of things through the mail for me, which is very frustrating, but big corporate conglomerate, they don't care.
Let's see here. Gordon asked, Roy, did you get that old trough cemented in? And Alex had asked how the winterizing was coming along for the shop.
Okay, so no and no, basically. I did not get the trough cemented in. Again, just got onto other projects, other things. Life got in the way there. And so same thing with the winterizing, nothing's happened there. And most likely nothing's going to happen until next year in the spring right now at this point in time. I've just got so sloshed out with different work and orders and classes I'm teaching this fall. And, again, I'm going to be gone to the Good of the Land Fest. That's going to be like a week for us round trip because we're driving down and then driving back and 2 days there and a day ahead and stuff. So I haven't been in the shop enough to get work done, regular work done, let alone monkey around with any more improvements. I have, however, done a lot in the way of organization and we've done a lot of shelving, things like that. So stuff is getting a lot more organized. So I'm getting a lot more free area space on the floor, which is working out really well. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that as the winter drives on. But other than that, I've just went out the other day and bought me some long johns. Some of them old style long johns, the ones that are red, and they button all the way up and they got the flap in the back, Yeah, old school. Old school. Yep. Going to keep me, hopefully it'll keep me warm all winter long. We'll see.
Let's see. Oleg, what light are we using? Just kind of like some work lights basically pointed straight at us because it's getting dark outside.
Yeah, these are just some simple LED lights, work lights, spotlights or whatever you would say, that we bought over at Home Depot. I think they're the Hyper Tough or something like that. Put on some light stands. Now there's some professional grade light stands they're sitting on, but we couldn't afford the professional grade prices for the LED lights for that. These work pretty well. I've got one over here giving me a little bit of fill light, one over here is my kind of like my key light, and then Jessica's got one bouncing off the wall hitting her. Again, the cameras we have, they do pretty good at pulling up you know, light and whatnot, but we could use a lot more light in here. It's on the docket of things to do. It's just going to be a while before we get there. I'll probably do LED lighting for the time being in here. It'll be way up there, and we'll see how well that works at some point. I still got about 6 more lights in here. I got 6 lights in here to hang, but the problem is they're all about 30 feet or so up that way. So that's going to be a lot of hairy carry on a ladder. Scary. Maybe I'll live stream it. We do a live stream on that. What do you guys think? That way, if I fall to my death, you guys were here to witness it. How's that sound?
Let's see. Oh, Manga 12 says, when I'm cold, I just wear sports leggings. Okay. Better get the flannel version of those. I'm so gonna say another comment that threw me off though. Oh, we did just, yeah.
That's right, Jeremy. Sports leggings. Throws her off.
Yes. Yeah, we just hit 101 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. And secondly, I wanted to mention our next live stream, excuse me, is down in, the link is down in the description down there. So if you want to go head over right after the stream or whatever, you can go hit a notification for that so that YouTube reminds you when it happens. And that is going to take place next Friday. Again, that'll be from 5 to 7 Eastern time. And we'll be forging something else.
Very cool. I think next Friday's live stream, it'll be one of 2 things. It will either be centered around the Good of the Land Fest, me working on whatever item I'm doing for the Good of the Land Fest. It'll either be that, or if I'm just not in a good place on that at that point in time, my first initial thought was a free-form sculpture. So I might just get it heated up, get some multiple bars in here, and do a much larger sculptural piece, and do that as the live stream. And we'll see what you all think about that. And I'll get into more about what a free-form sculpture is in that live stream. So be sure to come check it out. So if it's not the Good of the Land Fest thing, most likely it's going to be the free-form sculpture, because I haven't really done any sort of that type of work as of yet on the channel to take and show people what can be done just manipulating metal, you know, and having a good time in the shop. And free-form sculptures, they appeal to a certain taste out there as well, out there if you're selling ironwork. And for me, they're kind of, well, they're easy. They're dirt simple to do. So definitely worth checking out and seeing what we can come up with, playing in the forge.
Tinker's Place says, is Roy going to do anything Halloween-y? No, not likely. We normally don't really do anything for Halloween. Yeah, so no, not really. Black Collar Ironworks, $5 super chat. Make sure you don't forget to button up the flap and and smash that like button all.
When you literally said that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm looking in the camera right now. I'm looking in the, I'm like, am I showing? I was like, oh, whew, everything's good to go. So, but yeah, to copy on the whole Halloween comment, I don't do anything. I don't usually celebrate Halloween. It's not, Halloween's never really been my thing. It's never been my favorite time of year or anything. I do celebrate Christmas. I just love that holiday the most, Thanksgiving and Christmas time, because that was always a time for family getting together for me and very closeness. And no matter where I was at in the world, or no matter what we were doing, well, I shouldn't say the world, no matter where I was at in the United States or whatever, I could always kind of count on Christmas to come together with people I hadn't seen in a long time. So those are my favorite holidays, and I usually celebrate those. We don't do anything for Halloween. It's just another day, another dollar, or just another hour or whatever. As far as forging wise, there is some great potentials there. I believe John Switzer just put out a thing where he did some kind of like ghoulish looking, I don't know what you call them, ornaments or decorations, things like that. Be sure to check him out. And I believe Daniel Moss at Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith, a while ago, it was either him or Taborg Alman. I think it was Tabor Alman. He did one with pumpkins. He did a pumpkin thing. There's been several people who've done pumpkins. I think Daniel Moss at Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith, he did a pumpkin candle holder, I think, before. Again, just go check out their channels on that and kind of search that and blacksmithing stuff. Both really great gentlemen. Really cool to watch them smith as well. And they got interesting approaches to those things. So yeah, give them a little look-see if you're looking for Halloween type items.
Mr. Coffee, thank you for the $20 super chat and says, glad to see the both of you back at it.
Thank you, Mr. Coffee, sir. And it was great to get to meet you. And we really can't thank you enough for inviting us over to your home and your place. When we were at Quad State there and over at the coffee grounds, we had an absolute blast and a ball, and we really needed that, and we really appreciate it. And thank you for the $20 super chat. And I believe it was Black Collar Ironworks was before? Yeah. That. I'm sorry if I didn't say it, but thank you for the $5 super chat. We do acknowledge that, and we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So.
And one quick thing, Freeze asked if we could show the rose again, the close-up of it.
Yeah, let's show that rose one more time here. Let's go to the anvil there. Is this about a good place for it, Jess?
That's good.
Okay, hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. So there's the leaf, there's your petals. Again, this is very advantageous. This style rose is very advantageous in, say, like if you've got gates or railings to do or anything like that. This is a great way of doing that because it allows water to run all the way through the piece and it doesn't trap anywhere. Unlike the stacked method, will actually trap, has a tendency to trap moisture in between the leaves themselves. But that's all one piece now. You could say that's a one-piece rose. We drew it out, bent it around, forged our leaf, forge welded it up. It's a pretty great, simple way of doing it. Again, it's not real hard to make a whole cluster of these. And I'll put it out there, mention it one more time. It is easier to do these than it is to demonstrate these, just for time's sake. So it's taken me 2 hours to demonstrate here. It takes me roughly about 45 minutes or so to do one of these by hand without any, without instructing anybody or doing anything like that, because I can just bang them out real quick. It's no big deal, right? Like I'll even use things like the power hammer or whatever to draw out the stem or things like that. There's tools I'll use to speed up my process. As you can see, we did it all right here at the anvil, so you don't need a power hammer or any specialty tools. But again, I can get these down to about 45 minutes per, and it's definitely a lot of money you can add to, say, a section of railing or some sort of ornamental work. And then also you can just go plook, put that thing right into a pipe of some sort, a nice little pipe vase, and sell it as a little standalone sculpture, a little anniversary gift or something like that. It's a great way of doing it, and it doesn't take you too long to do that. So you could probably expect, as a beginner, to probably do this in about an hour, hour and a half or so as a whole. If you're more towards the intermediate level to advanced level, you can probably expect to get it down to probably 45 minutes or so, an hour to 45 minutes. And it's a great little gift, great little thing to be made that you can drop on the ground. Why not? There we are. Hopefully you liked it. All right. So that's that. Any other comments we need to get to, or are we fine?
Sure, I'll throw two more out. Both are from Corey Shire. The first one is if you made any more progress on the small vise. And then his second question is, what do you think the price range would be for selling those? $5, $25, somewhere in that range.
Okay, so answer the first question. Great questions, by the way. The small vise, I have gotten nowhere on the small vise. I've gotten a lot of pieces filed on it. I got a lot of things cleaned up. I'm just at this assembly stage of the small vise. And it seems like I get to that point and then it'll be a wild hair moment is what I call them. It'll just be one day, I'll be in there. It's in my tool cabinet right now. I'll be fiddling around, it'll be in my way, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna finish this thing. And I'll just get it finished out of nowhere. So I haven't made any more progress yet on the little small vise. Again, I've gotten onto other things. And then we had this big move as well, and it seems like life has gotten in the way of that. I also have a decorative hacksaw frame that I took a class with Tom Latney on that I need to finish up. And it's at the filed state right now. Like it's just, I have like 3 parts I have to file and fit, and then I can just put the thing together. Yeah, so it's still sitting there right next to it. So yeah, the vise is still sitting on the workbench and things like that. As far as pricing for the rows, like this, if you're just doing it singular like this, you could probably pull in about $50 for this. Anywhere from about $50, you could probably get away with 30 at the lowest is what I would go on that. So this way, you know, you're covering your time. If it was me, I would spend an extra, say 20 minutes to 30 minutes in my shop, put it in a vase, and I would sell it for probably $125, somewhere in there, in a vase, you know, a decorative made vase. That's what I would sell it for. And that would be just this singular thing. And it would sell. Now, is that going to be every customer? Probably not. You're not going to pick up, you know, I doubt you'll sell like 500 of them, you know, at a setting or anything like that at those prices, but you'll get paid for your labor that you had into it at least. And so you may not get paid for your materials or your gas or your fuel or any of the other stuff or paint, but at least at that you're kind of getting paid for your labor. So it could be very well. Again, it's kind of, this is one of those things that it's not necessarily just a standalone item. You'll want to add something to this, maybe another branch of roses or something like that to get the value out of it. You know, you can certainly do it as a singular item like this, but it'll be a lot tougher sell, I guess you would say, at those prices. So again, 30 to $50 if you're just doing single like this, laying like on a shelf or something like that, that would be a good price looking for. If you're going to put it in a vase, you could probably come up to around 120, 125 for something like that. There we go.
Black Collar asked if you'll be forging the vase.
Yeah, I'll be forging the vase for it. So I've got some pipe and I'll forge that up. Maybe I'll make a video out of it just for the heck of it. I don't know. I've done videos on that before, but we might forge a little pipe vase and then drop this in it and call that good. Yeah, I've done a forged candlestick online, candlestick holder, I should say, not a candlestick, but I've done a forged candlestick holder before, and a vase is very similar to that. So I'll probably, I might do that. It's been a while since I forged pipe on camera. That could be fun. Yeah. That could be fun. We could do it. See what you do, drop that in there, and then I'll have a million questions of, hey, where'd you make that rose? Why didn't you make that rose on camera? See, that's the way that'll happen. Live stream. I'll just tell them, watch my 2-hour live stream. I'm forging this, huh? So you guys just missed out. So, all right. Good?
Yeah, we're at 7:13.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to all of our Super Chat donators, all of our PayPal donators that have donated on PayPal. Thank you for everybody who shared the stream around, everyone who hit the like button, and everybody who took 2 hours and 13-14 minutes out of your lives to come spend with us. And we just really do appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. Jessica and I can't say enough about you. We love you all, and we really do appreciate you. And till next time, again, the next live stream, Jessica has the date for that, I think. It's scheduled. It's in the description down below. Hit the little down triangular shaped thing on the description menu and click on there and make sure you set your bell notification and reminder, and we will have some more giveaway things to do and hopefully have a blast forging some other items here. So again, thank you guys so much. God bless each and every last one of you this week and this weekend. And as always, we will catch you on the next one. Bye now. Hey now, stop summoning me back to the stream with borax comments. I need to go to bed, gentlemen and ladies out there. Let me go to bed in peace. No borax for you. Now go home. It's Friday night. Go somewhere else. All right, that's enough. No more borax. God bless y'all. We'll catch you later.